Welcome everybody, this is your host chess edition. I'm gonna play Bun's opening or Bun's defense series for 60 days every day. Let's start the game. I am white, so I'm gonna play f3. This is called the Bun's opening, where f3 pawn, the pawn f2 moves to f3, pawn to g3, knight to h3, knight to f2, bishop g2, pawn e3, castle king side, a proposition move a3, pawn to b4, bishop to b2, pawn to f4, pawn f d4, not f4, d4, pawn h3, king h2, knight g4, knight to e5, pawn takes, either knight takes knight or bishop takes knight, then pawn takes back, and I have a defender on b2. If he doesn't take, I will take. Maybe not. Pawn takes pawn. Knight takes knight. Queen to g4. If he's not careful, okay, it's okay, he's playing a defensive move, but not that great. Knight to d2. Queen falls back to e2. Most likely taking with a pawn. Pawn takes my pawn. My pawn takes back. I'm gonna reposition the knight to b3. If he takes, I'm blocking with a knight, then my rook goes to a7 later on. Knight to b3 as mentioned. Most likely I'm gonna evacuate the queen to f2 if he push the bishop, but there's no danger here. That's my mistake. I thought I saw something else that other people didn't see. I have to be careful if he pushes the bishop to a6. For now, I can take back with the queen, but not 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 sure yet because it's not played yet. Since that might happen, so I'm gonna reposition the rook from f1 to d1. Rook to d4, solidifying the center. He has 2 pawns in the center. I have 2 pawns at the wing. That's a bad move by me. He can get either one of the rook. So I'm gonna play rook to a4. Surely he will take my rook here. I'm gonna take back with my knight. Should I take the light square bishop, or should I wait for a better moment to place my knight? So far I have very good defensive moves because this pawn is being protected by a lot of pieces like the knight, the queen. Maybe if the rook falls back to a2. Okay, he's trying to threaten taking the pawn or the queen over on my queen side here. There's a lot of tactic he can play. pawn to g4, rook falls back to a2, queen to f2 or d2. I'm trying to play d2 in this game. Queen to d2, queen d2, pawn c3, so there is no danger on the queen side here. Queen d2, pawn c3, pawn c3, rook c2, pawn to f5, king to g1, king to f2. I'm not sure here is like very dangerous for me. Anytime I can get checkmated or being attacked by a lot of his pieces, because he's lining up this direction, so there is a lot of track he can play. There's a lot of danger in this around here. There's a lot of threats they can play to attack me, so I'm gonna just reposition the rook just to avoid losing a rook. My next move will be knight to c6, trying to grab either the rook or the queen if possible, but I don't think it will be that simple. There must be some tactics here that he can play so that he can win the game. It's unlikely he will push the queen to here or here. Maybe here is possible, but I'm going to play a fork so he can't do that. Forking the rook on b8 and queen on e5. Most likely he's gonna reposition the rook in this kind of cases, I think. Okay, so he did not reposition a rook. He's gonna lose a rook now. I'm gonna fall back the rook to a1. If he pushes the rook, okay, he didn't push the rook. rook to h1, rook to c1, queen to a2, queen to a3, rook to a1, king to g3, trying to run away with the king here. Queen to a4, trying to trade off queens. Running off with the king. King to d4, hoping for no dangers. Queen to d7, king to d5. Maybe I will get checkmated, I'm not sure. Checks the king. Moves the rook to f8. Moves the rook to f7. King to d4. King to d5. Queen to a7. I'm gonna lose a game. King to c5. King to b4. Rook to e7. king to b3, king to c3, king to d4, king to e3, king to d4, rook to e8, rook to a8, king to e3, either rook to a2 or rook to, okay, it's rook to a2 down, rook to a2, rook to g2, king to f2, king to e1, rook to h2, rook to d2, king to e3, the rook's gonna fall backwards, a2, next the king will go to f4, checks the king first, king f2, rook to a8, rook to h8, looks like I'm gonna lose in time. King to e1, rook to g8, rook to g4, rook to g7, rook to g8, checkmate, the next move, game for him. Rook to f8, Luckily I salvage a win. I keep on pushing and pushing, therefore I have this stalemate. That's all for today. Thank you for those who are watching. That's all for today. Goodbye.